Shut up and sit down.
Alrighty. Hello and welcome to the Nerds at Large Spoilercast for Shazam!
Shazam!
I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I am Jeff Mayo.
And hey, Jeff, we kind of surprise saw this movie last night.
Yeah.
Didn't really expect to, but we were just sitting there and we're like, hey, Jeff, how about Shazam? Can
is
I
a
interest
thing.
you in this Shazam?
I told you this last night after we got the movie. I'm happy we just went ahead and do that since Endgame was, is in 2 weeks. So I figured if we didn't see it by then, we probably wouldn't be seeing it in theaters at least.
Yeah, it'd be one of those. We're like, yeah, I heard it was good. I just never saw it. Yeah,
especially since Pikachu's like right after Endgame.
It's a busy time for movies coming up.
Yep.
Very, very busy time.
Yep.
No, so yeah, if you could tell by the way we're talking, we were pretty happy with this movie. I enjoyed it a whole lot, and I was really happy I saw it. I kind of expected, and if you haven't watched the Nerds or Spoilercast before, we're gonna be spoiler free at the beginning, just overall general impressions, and then we're gonna move into spoilers. So right now, just overall, basically, I think this movie was what the trailers promised.
Yep. Trailers, yeah. Very indicative of what the movie is, which is a fun superhero movie about, what if a kid got superpowers?
Yep. And it definitely, a lot of the jokes, it has, jokes that you would expect, but they do them really well. But then I feel like for every joke that was kind of I don't want to say low-hanging fruit, but just the obvious joke you would make, there was something that kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah.
There was lots of those moments.
Mm-hmm.
And, while it was one of those, I was a little worried that, all the funniest parts would be in the trailer, but I don't think that was the case.
No, I think some of the ones that we thought the funniest, and there's one in particular we'll definitely bring up in spoilers, was not in the trailers. I think they did a good job with the trailers after seeing the movie, because, I think it showed the stuff it needed to give an idea what the movie's about, and, the jokes that, again, like you said, would expect. A lot of those were in the trailers and everything. But a lot of the stuff they did not show. The dynamic with Billy and Freddie were obviously shown in the trailer, but not really Billy and the rest of the family, which we'll definitely get into in the...
Yeah, I'm not going to get too spoilery, but there's definitely the rest of the Foster family plays way more of a role than I thought it was going to, and it's definitely ends up being it's definitely a movie focused on Billy and Shazam, but it's more of an ensemble piece than I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
You end up caring a lot about those characters, and those characters all kind of influence each other, and they have arcs. There's definitely some of them more than others.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But for the most part, I really cared about those characters, and there's some great moments
indeed
later on with all of them. And I think that kind of segues to, I think there was a lot of kid acting in here, and I think it was all really good, and that's not always the case.
The guy who plays Freddy, who apparently was in It, I didn't see It, is really good.
Yeah, someone said that, and I immediately was like, yep, that's it. That's where I know.
Was it bugging? I was like, I know this kid.
Yeah, I was like, I know this.
No, that's something that, especially once we, maybe I didn't even watch all the... I guess we saw kids, but I didn't know exactly how all of them, how many going to be involved, how involved they were going to be in the movie. So once we got in there and saw them, I was like, part of me was worried, bunch of kid actors. Okay, let's go. But yeah, they were great.
Knocked it out of the park. Absolutely knocked it out of the park.
Darla stole the show.
Darla is the best part of the movie. I mean, as soon as you watch the movie, just a little bit into there, you'll understand.
So it makes me hope there is a sequel planned. So hopefully they get that done sooner rather than later. Just because, so the actors don't get too old.
Yeah, and it's just cool to know that we have a supporting cast that we really care about with this, which is not, again, not really what I was expecting. And I don't know anything about Shazam. Jeff knows more than me.
Yeah, I'm not a Shazam expert.
Yeah, I know.
As far as the overall pantheon of DC, he's kind of on the lower as far as the big heroes goes, of my knowledge.
Yeah, so. No, he's definitely almost completely bottom for me. I mean, I know vague things.
Before this, you knew his name, that he said Shazam, and he has an enemy named Black Adam.
And that he was a kid.
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah.
It's also kind of surprising. Black Adam was nowhere to be seen. Not really spoilers, we knew that going in. But
yeah, I am, but I do think that could set it up potentially
saving that
for future things, which would be interesting. Like, is The Rock gonna be Black Adam? Wasn't that?
I think that's part of the reason. Is there were still talks, even I feel like to someone recently, about there being a solo Black Adam movie. I'm like, that feels weird.
At this point, just Shazam was so good. Just do a Shazam movie with Black Adam. That's the direction you should go.
Then we have Zachary Levi and The Rock playing off each other.
I'm down for that.
Well,
that's
that's
a lot of muscles.
Yes. Speaking of that, Zachary Levi, perfect.
So good. I mean, he was just like
this role.
Bored to play this role. I mean,
yeah. While I was doing research for our doc or whatever, just looking at Wikipedia and stuff, I saw a couple things. One of the things in particular I saw, we'll get into in the spoilers, but Zachary Levi apparently, when he auditioned for the role, it was for a minor role. I have no idea when that would have been. Maybe he was auditioning for the, I don't know, dad or foster dad or something. I don't know. But they apparently was like, hey, why don't you try out for the main role?
He's like,
okay. And obviously he got it. Yeah, like, okay. If you say so.
And I couldn't imagine this movie without him.
Yeah.
And as me and Jeff were talking about on the ride home last night, I mean, that's a really hard role to act.
Yeah.
Because you have to, you are a grown man and you have to act as a, you have to like get in the mindset of this like 14-year-old kid with these powers. And a very like in a modern day age. I mean, it's really cool because you really bought that it was flipping back and forth between Billy the Kid and Billy as Shazam, and you bought that it was the same character the whole time, which like I feel like that would be super hard to do.
Yeah. That was kind of weird to think about. It's like when you think after the movie, it's like technically if we look at one actor who was on the screen the most, technically Freddy's actor was on the screen the most.
Yeah, because they was split so much with Billy
between
and Zachary Levi. Yeah, which is kind of like ironic. And it's like it almost seems like the Billy the Kid, he probably had like, he's like, yeah, I have very few action moments, even though it looks like I do, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I guess I'm just trying to think of any other things that hit with spoiler free. I mean, there's
spoiler free. I guess one thing maybe we can talk about a couple of criticisms. The action and the special effects on some places were very not great.
I think that's the biggest criticism of this movie, definitely for me, is that there's some CGI like monsters and stuff, and they don't look good. And then when it comes to the action, I feel like it's very one-dimensional, and there's too much action for how one-dimensional and kind of like the action is.
Yeah, here's kind of the thing. I mean, as play devil advocate for that, I know this doesn't necessarily make it good or anything or interesting, but it technically makes sense that if you have two people that were just given superpowers, the most they do is giant punches with super strength. Makes sense, but doesn't make for interesting action, I know.
Yeah, and I think universally everyone I've heard talk about this movie, even people like us who like it, they all say like, yeah, it felt long. Yeah. And I think that's part of it. Is some of those like, especially
some of those action scenes, could have been trimmed down.
It just felt like they were like, we've had the same like power dynamic shift back and forth so many times in this action scene. I was like, I feel like some of this could have just been cut.
Honestly, it's one of those things and I'm sorry, talking generally, there's still something cut. It's one of those odd times when the as far as the actiony kind of stuff, the third act kind of battle thing was, and again, I'm not going to say what exactly happened in it, was one of the better parts of that.
Yeah,
just because
cool.
For reasons we'll get into later. But yeah, some of the like the middle, the kind of fight that happened in the middle could have been trimmed down for sure, I think, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
because the big part of this movie or makes this movie so good is the heart in it and the characters and all that stuff. So I can't really think of much of that stuff that could be trimmed down. So yeah, if I say what could be trimmed down, focus on maybe getting some of that
right, because that stuff was a lot more varied. And I guess just right before we go out, I'll say like, yeah, this movie, for having heart, like I expected it to be a charming movie, but it had some like actual like emotional impact that I was not completely ready for
and gruesome in some ways.
And like surprisingly gruesome a few times. Like there was definitely some surprising moments in this movie.
Yeah. I guess one thing we can do before we go in there, we can talk about the villain just in a general aspect. It's the whole superhero movie / origin story one where the villain is like the least interesting part. Yeah, and it was. I mean, it is a bit of like it's kind of the main character if you went down a darker path, basically in a way. That whole thing, which also kind of. I mean, yeah, we'll say this, not really spoilers, you've seen trailers. Power set wise, he's Shazam.
Yeah, pretty much the same.
Couple little twists we'll get into, things, but where also kind of partly sucks is because they'll probably go the Black Adam route at some point. So that means we get another person,
Another,
enemy that has the same power set.
Yeah, I hope they make up for that by making Black Adam kind of a more interesting character. I mean, I think this guy served, like, I think him being kind of a bland villain, not that it was, like, a net positive for the movie, but I think it worked well enough as a foil to
I agree.
To Zachary Levi and to Shazam, because, like, Shazam was just so out there and so wacky that it kind of, that worked for him to be more bland and kind of dour and everything, because it just made some for some funny scenes.
I understand. I agree completely. It's just that some of his motivations were weak, and we'll go
totally. Oh yeah, his backstory and everything about that's kind of like. There's definitely parts of this movie that you kind of have to be like, no.
That's one of those things. This is a movie you can nitpick to hell, but the stuff that's good about it is so good and just so fun. You just really don't care about the nitpicky stuff.
And the simple act of just sitting down and watching this movie straight through, I had a blast. There was definitely times where I'm like, like this, but like there was some motivation stuff that didn't work, but for the most part, it's a blast. And I would recommend people go see this. I mean, I know, like, obviously, if you're overwhelmed by the amount of movies you're going to in the next few weeks, you could watch this one on streaming later. I mean, that's fine, but I think you definitely should watch this movie at some point.
Especially since, well, maybe we can talk at the end as far as where we see / want the DCEU to go, but Shazam will be a part, whatever that is.
Yeah. It's just so, we'll talk about it, but just the fact that, like, Wonder Woman and Shazam's good, and apparently people like Aquaman, but then the rest of it is, like, not that great and falling apart, and all the actors are leaving. It's just so weird to think where this is going.
Yep. No, it's at a point where this maybe only 2 out of the 6 Justice League members will still stick around because Flash, Superman, and Batman are gone, and who really cares about the Cyborg apparently?
It's like DCU's foundation fell apart, but the rest of it just got so good, right? Like, the DCEU got good at the wrong time, basically.
Yeah. Also, friend, what it looks like. The DC Universe live-action Cyborg's better. Watch Doom Patrol, people. Yeah. It's great.
All right, Jeff, you ready to move on to spoilers? You suggest this movie?
I do 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just want a good, fun time.
All righty. Well, let's move into that spoilers. Let me get this doc back up. Boop. Phone's dying. I'm having to keep it just so. Okay. All right, Jeff. Spoilers. I usually spout out some big spoiler. I don't know what the biggest spoiler in this is.
Shazam family.
I guess that's the biggest spoiler.
That is the biggest spoiler / surprise.
It definitely took me off guard. I was like, oh, wait, we're doing it. Oh, shit.
No, I mean, obviously I told you this. I knew this was, obviously a thing in the comics, this thing happening. Mm-hmm. I've seen this adapted like in the Flashpoint comic / movie where, spoiler alert for that, Wonder Woman brutally murders all the Shazam family.
Shit.
Flashpoint's messed up. But yeah, this happened and really surprised me. I figured this was going to be something they pull out in the sequel.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm okay with it being here.
No, it's cool. And it, like, I think especially for people like me who don't know Shazam, it may, like, just that twist alone makes me so much more excited for future Shazam movies, because now you have this full cast of characters that not only are going to be involved, but are going to be, like, fully involved, probably, like, with the action and with fighting, and like, it's cool. And, like, I'm sure it makes directing the movies hard, but it's interesting now that you're going to have 2 whole sets of actors. You're going to have the kid actors and then the adult action actors, and you have to flip between them. Like, to make it realistic, probably flip between them often.
Now, here's something I'm curious about what they're doing, because they didn't. Because when you obviously be jumping around with all this. And the post-credits scene, it's Freddy and Billy Shazam trying to talk to a fish, and then they riff on Aquaman some.
Yeah.
But they're testing Billy, but Freddy's not trying. He's not transformed.
I took it that was back when they were still testing all of his powers back then. That's what I took that as, because like he had the same like marker and stuff that he like during that whole montage when they was like, we're testing this power, testing this power. That's what I took that as.
I took it as they were still doing it afterwards because they're goofballs.
Maybe.
You could be, you could be right, because at that point they know all their powers probably.
Yeah.
Though that's a random power. It's like, let's just see if you can do this. 'Cause why the hell not?
We're just trying. Yeah, I mean, but during that section of the movie, they were like trying everything and like putting it on YouTube. So that's, but maybe I read that wrong. But,
you mentioning that, you think, okay, what? Either way, that works for either one of us. But let's say, just for the sake of it, I'm right or whatever. After they change back, we give no indication that they can, or no mention that they can turn back. You know?
Yeah.
We don't know that's a one-time thing.
Yeah, I just assumed that they could because, I mean, it just makes it more interesting. But
I agree. I'm just curious the way they're doing, because then it's
yeah.
like a whole thing of, you said, well, now they got 2 sets of things, and now they have a whole 6-person team of pretty OP in general characters.
You have 7 Supermen.
I mean, people complain about Superman being overpowered and stuff. Now we have a team of 6 of them.
Yeah. So you just have to have more OP people fight them, and it's just, just sliding.
Or someone who is not necessarily OP necessarily, but impervious to magic.
I told Jeff on the ride home that what I really thought and really hoped was going to happen is at the very end of the movie when they reach in and do their like all hands in or something. I thought Darla was going to say Shazam, and
it hits all their hands and they all transform.
Oh my god, that would be so good. The foster parents are like, "What?"
Actually, I do wonder how, because I can't remember how exactly it works in the comics. I imagine it's kind of thing. I wonder if like they do Shazam lightning, one of them calls it and hits another one. They. Whoever it hits is transformed.
I can see that there's like someone else above them and it hits them and not them or something. Yeah, it'd be interesting. All right, well, you want to kind of just go through the movie a little bit to refresh ourselves on some of the...
Yeah, it starts out with the story of Savannah or whatever, the bad guy. You probably didn't.
Oh, right. Yeah, I never knew his name the entire movie.
They really don't say that much. They do the Savannah industry things, and then they kind of don't say his name throughout the rest of the thing.
Yeah, I never knew his name.
Yeah.
I don't know that actor's name either. He's in everything. But,
but I don't watch too many movies. I'm bad with names. Mark Strong.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Starts out flashback scene. It's him as a little kid in a car with his parents. Blah blah blah. Shazam the Wizard brings him in, being like, "Yo, I'm looking for a champion, pure heart. Yo, see that orb over there?" It's like, "Oh,
don't touch it!
Don't touch it! Get out of here! You're not worthy. You're not worthy." Gets back in the car. He starts going crazy. He's like, "I am worthy." Car accident. Dad paralyzed. All that kind of stuff. Goes through a window. Blah blah blah. Still crazy. His dad and older brother are dicks. Throughout this whole thing.
Yeah. Until they're brutally murdered.
Yes. And then stuff happens before the film he's going this. He becomes an adult. He's still obsessed with the whole thing. I was watching Funhouse's movie review thing for it.
Yeah.
And one of them said real good as far as part of his motivation. He's just really butthurt that a wizard told him no, that he's not worthy, and it into adulthood.
He probably watched Hogwarts and he's like, "No, I want to go. I want to be a wizard."
Yeah, and then he's using
watched Hogwarts, watched Harry Potter. Yeah. You know what I mean? He wants to go to Hogwarts.
Yeah. Then blah blah blah. He's been researching all this stuff. Other people, including adults. One thing wasn't clear with the showing a bunch of adults in the video saying they also went to Shazam, brought them to him.
Yeah.
Wasn't clear were they kids when this happened or recent? Some of it made it sound like it might have been a recent thing, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. So with Shazam, just literally asking everyone despite age.
I think at that he was dying, so he's like, I just need anyone who could work.
That's why he gets the Billy, and he's like, "Nope, you don't get to say no."
It's pretty much like, "You seem good enough. I'm not even going to test you. Here you go. Say my name and touch my rod."
He's like, "Gross."
Yep. Which is fair. It's just a strange old man in a dress asking him to touch his rod and say his name. So yeah, so just origin of the bad guy, and then we cut to Philadelphia. Yeah.
Music starts playing.
Yeah, I guess we can say this. Okay. When you get... Blah, he's obsessed with it. He finally gets in there. He steals the magic orb and gets the 7 deadly sins, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and that lady just gets completely melted and destroyed. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's like brutal. Yeah. Yeah, the music cut to Billy and Philly.
I like Billy and Philly. I like that a lot, Jeff. That is pretty good. I love the music in this movie.
Yeah.
It's just, it was loud and like in your face, and it was great. And Yeah, it was good.
Yep, we see Billy searching for his mom.
Being a little rascal, breaking into cop cars, stealing cops' lunch.
Yep. Yep. Gets an address, goes to it. Not his mom.
Yeah, like, do you really think so?
Perfect.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, and he has a little notebook, and it says he's checked dozens of people.
Yeah. Is this when we get the flashback to his mom, or is that?
Yeah, we have flashbacks kind of thing, just get an idea of why he's searching for his mom and that kind of stuff. One thing I was confused about in the flashback, and as far as I know, we know what happened with his mom and everything, but something that kind of confused me, at least at the time, maybe I just didn't know something. He gets lost or whatever. Then it's like he goes back to his mom and says, "Hi, Mom, I'm here," and the mom responds, and he kind of just backs away, and then he's at the.
No, it wasn't his mom. It was just someone who was wearing the same clothes.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't her.
See, I didn't see the mom's face look kind of similar, and it sounded like, to me, I guess it just wasn't here well enough. It sounded like she said something that was like, oh, it's,
I think she said, "Oh, who are you looking for, buddy?" or something like that.
Okay.
It was another.
I guess I just
girl.
didn't hear what she said.
Yeah,
right?
she said, "Who are you with, buddy?" or
Okay,
something like that.
I thought that was it, but
yeah.
Okay, thanks for saying. Yeah, then he went to the police. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, the cops get him.
It is a little wild to be like the cops couldn't like find their house or something. Like I imagine this some like county fair. I mean, I guess she just bolted, completely left.
Oh no, they show later she completely bolted.
Yeah.
She sees him with the cop, which is one of the saddest parts of the saddest part of the movie. He actually finds his mom.
Yeah, we'll get there because that's definitely.
Then police get him. Blah blah blah. He goes to the foster care people, whatever. We're gonna see. It's like, yo, we got this couple. We're gonna take you in. You've ran away too many times though, so be good. It's.
Get introduced to the entire family.
Yep, gets introduced to. Let's see. I got the names on here.
I like
Victor and Rosa Vasquez are the parents' names.
Okay. Yeah.
Now you can instantly tell they're cool. They get in the car. It's like, hey, we get it. We were where you were. We were foster kids too. Blah blah blah. And it's kind of like, I'm glad because a lot of these movies, I'm glad they went the whole, hey, this is an actual family route and not now these people are actually assholes. They make a joke about it later.
Yeah, like you said, I'm glad the whole movie, they're like, they're cool people. Because usually the foster thing, like, they end up with some horrible...
No, it's terrible here. They'll fall for their lives. Like, nah, just joking.
It's really Game of Thrones around here.
No. And the only time that the parents are, at least the dad's angry and yells at Billy, I mean, it's understandable. He gets done ditching school.
So. And even when, like, he left there, you could kind of tell on his face that he was, like, kind of sad about it.
No, these people are great.
Yeah, no, they're awesome, and I'm glad.
We're introduced to all.
That's refreshing.
Yeah, we're introduced to all the kids. Yep, Darla instantly loves Freddy. Well, she just loves everyone,
and she's instantly just kind of steals the show.
Yep,
she's adorable.
Yep,
yeah. I like there was definitely some of them was a little thin. It's just like this is the video game guy.
Yeah.
And that is his entire character. It's a little cringy at times. But
no, I agree. It's the unfortunate thing since now they did have all these characters and for the most part until the end they weren't that involved. It's kind of hard to,
it's hard to have that many. I mean, they obviously
build up their character.
They kind of had the hierarchy. They picked Darla first for like character development.
Freddie and then Darla.
Or Freddie then Darla. Then
Mary,
the sister,
and then the other two were kind of at the bottom.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I think it was good enough, but it was definitely some of the video game references is probably just specifically because me and Jeff are so involved with video games. But it was
Hadouken.
it was kind of cringy. There were some of them that were okay, but most of the references were pretty bad.
He did Hadouken, Darby.
He did do Hadouken.
I mean, which to be fair, we were kids. We would do something. Absolutely. So that's fun. So yeah, that happens. He goes to school. Billy goes to school and ever having trouble. He's like, I hate this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
School ends. Some generic high school bullies come out.
Yeah.
Takes on the disabled kid, Freddy.
I knew assholes in high school, but I guess I knew people who were that much of assholes. I guess I did. Anyway.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we definitely did.
Billy hits one of them in the dick with Freddy's.
Which is nice. Yeah.
Then they run away, runs into the subway. That's when Billy gets teleported to Shazam's hideout.
Old man makes him touch his rod.
Yep, touches rod and says his name. Shazam.
And
disintegrates. He got dusted.
He got dusted.
Oh yeah, something I find funny, and I'm sure people have pointed this out, especially when the guy was announced. I don't know if you recognize this actor, but I find it funny. He was in both Captain Marvel movies that released in the last couple months.
He was in what?
Both Captain Marvel movies. He was in He was the.
There was 2 Captain Marvel movies.
I mean, Captain Marvel and Shazam is Captain Marvel.
Okay.
He's in both of the Captain Marvel movies.
Who is he in Captain Marvel?
He's the black guy who worked in Carol's old.
I don't know. I'd have to see it, but I'll take.
It's harder to recognize him because of the beard and everything. You'd recognize the actor for 100%.
Okay.
I was like, that's him, right? It looks like, yep, it's him.
Okay, that's funny.
Yep. Apparently they got someone else for him, but like pretty last minute they replaced him with him. Scheduling conflicts.
I mean, it's not like it's that many scenes. He plays a very big role, but it's really just like 2 scenes or 3 scenes.
It's all the same place. They probably just filmed that all at once.
Probably. Yeah, the weird gargoyle thing. So then he is Zachary Levi, Shazam, man. I love don't scream.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, you're the only dorky kid I know or whatever.
Yeah.
So they go out and do shenanigans. That's what I have on here.
And you have the kind of like weird, this is again the weird reference to like this is still in the DCEU because he has like the Superman bullet.
Yeah, and the Batarang and all stuff.
Yeah, and the Batarang.
It's come later.
Yeah. But that was cool.
Yeah.
So then this is around where we get the montage.
This is when like the stuff beforehand was fine. But this is when it starts getting really good.
This is when the movie starts.
I mean, the moment he turns to Shazam.
Yeah, there's like these Captain Sparkle Fingers and all this other stuff. And I was thinking like at the convenience store, like maybe I'm just a very cautious young man, but like when he's like, oh, we don't know if it works with your with the suit or your skin, shoot him in the face. I would not be like, yeah, sure, shoot me in the face.
To be fair, Billy was like, yeah, wait, what?
Also, I was thinking the whole time they were shooting him, Freddy is standing very close to him. He could get a ricochet bullet into his skull. I was like, I don't know, Freddy, maybe step back a few paces, maybe step to the end of the aisle or something.
That's one of the things nitpicky, but the way I look at it is from Freddy's point, like, this is cool. They're just gonna focus on the big superhero guy.
No, but if you can shoot someone. If I shoot the wall right here and you're standing right there, the bullet could.
Yeah. Well, I think what they did there.
It's just dangerous.
No, I agree with you, and obviously Freddy would know this, but all those bullets just kind of hit him and dropped. That kind of thing.
Yes. But that was good.
It was all fun. They got the beer and they're like, "Oh, this is awful." They got a bunch of snacks.
Good junk food. Yeah, sorry about your window. You're welcome for not getting robbed.
So it was kind of funny what this whole thing was in this whole montage and all that kind of stuff.
Which was great.
Yeah, they try to test out superpowers and test out what they can do since Billy's an adult now.
Yes.
Buying beer, going into strip clubs.
I mean, like, this is again kind of like low-hanging fruit funny, but they just did it so freaking well.
Yeah.
And I was telling Jeff after the movie, I think I could probably watch 45 minutes of them trying out powers set to Queen music.
Yeah.
Because the Don't Stop Me Now was so good.
Yep.
It was so good for that montage.
Mm-hmm.
This movie definitely had like almost a Guardians type tone as far as its goofiness, but it was its own tone. I mean, I'm not trying to say it was like exactly that, but it's like we're going to use our own,
Again, this is the tone Shazam had to have.
Oh, yeah.
They tried out any other tone. This would not work probably at all.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't make a dead serious Shazam movie.
But just like Guardians of the Galaxy, it had like the goofy tone, but there's also moments where you're like, holy shit, why am I this sad at Shazam?
Yeah.
in a Shazam movie.
So yeah, they do a lot of kind of fun stuff. They do that for a little while, and then they get on the they fight because reasons. I say reasons, but because Freddy's letting this whole thing get to his head. And they both are in different ways.
Yeah. Because they're 14.
Exactly. Freddy's like, yeah, my best friend's a superhero, and he's bragging about it, blah, blah, blah. And Billy's not going to be all in on that. So they fight like an old married couple as I think Mary said.
Which, like, we can just jump around a little bit. I appreciate because, like, obviously, like, to us, like, sitting there at that dinner table was like, this is kind of obvious. Yeah. It's like, it should be kind of obvious to them, too. And I'm actually glad it was actually a little refreshing that the characters actually did kind of use that to figure it out.
That was so refreshing when the whole kids, I mean, Darla already knew at that point.
Yeah,
and they did the fun things like she can't keep secrets, and then since then she really like never said a word. You could just see her like.
I love because they made that section of the movie is decently long, even though like I think me and you were both glad that the kids figured out about halfway through the movie, which was cool. You know, it wasn't like some reveal at the very end, but I like that. Like, yeah, Darla's voice is a constant part of this movie.
They even mentioned like you're quiet,
except for that section, and then like she barely has any lines, and you just know it's killing her. You know, it's absolutely killing her.
No, but I loved it because this is just one of those things you just kind of forgive in superhero things normally with secret identities and stuff that they don't figure it out because of the reasons, blah, blah, blah. But it is refreshing to see they just put it all together once they actually see Freddy and Billy together like on the TV and he's, Billy Shazam and they're arguing and stuff like that's arguing like they did. Shazam knew all my stuff, or, Mary said, knew all my information when he saved me pretty much.
When I feel like a lot of different movies could have had the same amount of stuff they had in here, and they still just would have made the characters idiots. Like,
exactly. That was so refreshing, especially since they were so young. They all just kind of figured out. I was like, yes, finally, you guys figured it out, and I have to tell you, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, that was really good. There was something else I was gonna say, but I forgot. Oh, I was gonna also just in that it makes sense that like 14-year-olds would probably be pretty shitty at hiding their secret identity of being a superhero because they're too excited about being a superhero.
Yeah,
it makes sense. Yeah,
kind of as that or before that was going on, Shazam met Savannah for the very first time, fought him some. Billy kind of got his butt kicked for the most part. Ended up in a mall. Blah blah blah.
That whole thing was great too because they almost shot it like a horror movie almost where it's like you're seeing over Billy's shoulder and he's just saying there's like
he's throwing Batman dolls at him. But
just the way it was shot with like Billy always running towards you and it looks back at him, like you felt the kind of anxiety and just how cowardly Billy was.
And I liked and I kind of like the way they kind of used it. Okay, cool. But like what they did with this, as far as Billy transforming back and forth, kind of just using that to Billy's advantage as far as like strategy / getting away / using it in fights in ways. I like the way they did that, kind of just throughout the movie. Like when he was in the mall or whatever and trying to get away, it's like he used Shazam, he used that as cover to get away. He doesn't know what Billy looks like at that point.
Right, yeah. And that happens multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times. Or Billy transforming the fight to get a better position or something, transforming back and that kind of stuff. I like that. I like that kind of thing.
Yeah, because that's like what you would do. And I hate it in a lot of superhero movies when you're sitting here, you're like, do the thing. Why aren't you doing the thing, you idiot? It's like, so that's cool.
So do that, and then after Savannah, obviously since the superhero around, that's always being played on TV throughout the thing. So, so that
makes sense. Has a superhero,
and of course they see the superhero armor with the kid. Savannah sees that, and then Freddy happens to be kind of right there because that was where the battle's happening. So Freddy was seeing Billy was okay, catches Billy, ends up going to their Billy goes back to the place, and that's when the other kids be like, "Yo, you're the superhero."
Yeah,
Billy's like,
yeah, but shit's whack though.
Yeah, and then the kids are like, we found, or Billy's like, well, you have my notebook, when he was doing the research, find stuff. His mom's like, we looked into it. This, the small aged kid, he's obviously a hacker.
Of course.
Yeah.
And because he learned it from Watch Dogs, Jeff.
Yep.
Learned it from Watch Dogs. It's great.
Yep. But how many people? There's probably a good many people like, what's Watch Dogs?
Probably most people watching this movie.
Yeah.
And the people who do know Watch Dogs are cringing too.
Yeah. So they're like, yo, we found your mom. Here's the address. She's actually like 2 blocks away from here or whatever. Really close by.
Yeah.
Billy just is like
bolts there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then one of the best scenes in the movie, and also one of the most soul crushing. Yeah,
he's fearing some mom. Mom, obviously didn't recognize him. because it's been years.
He had to explain this.
10 years.
Didn't remember the toy thing, which was such a big deal to him, and it's and you could tell. I think her acting was really good too. There was a lot of like confusion and pain and guilt and everything else mixed on her face.
As a stereotypical asshole boyfriend, just off screen yelling like, "What are you doing? Who are you talking to?"
Voice. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, she's pretty much just said, "I left you there. I saw you. I just didn't figure other people could, treat you better, blah. So I just left." Like, damn, son. It's like,
ouch.
Yep. And I mentioned this to you when we were riding, the car ride back home. Afterwards, when Billy was walking away and she was going back in, I was wondering if it was going to be the kind of thing where the asshole boyfriend would end up being abusive and kind of hit her. Billy hears it, transforms, kind of busts in.
And then goes, hey, like, yeah, that would have been a dark thing. I could have seen that, absolutely seen that.
I'm okay with it not to, because it's just kind of closure, because that whole kind of thing was kind of like, and it's kind of a theme throughout the whole movie. Your family is not necessarily your blood. It's it's where your home is and that kind of stuff. Your home is what you make and that kind of stuff.
And I think if that happened, that could have, like, this is still the message they wanted to get to. So that could have just muddled the message or just wasted time. Like,
this is the thought that crossed my mind as it happened. But the more I think about it, it's like, I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah. Because this, I need to go back to my real family.
Yeah.
That was that's a cool. That was a cool message. Are we about to win? I think we're about to win. Sorry, we were watching the Atlanta Reign game. Really, we suck, but we might be able to beat a team that only has one win.
Let's go.
We just lost to a team that had no wins. So. Hey, we did it. Okay.
Nice. So, that happens. And while this is happening, Sylvana takes Freddy back to the foster home and pretty much just kidnaps the other kids. Calls Billy and Freddy's friends like, "Yo, I have your family. Come give me your power, son."
Yeah.
Billy goes there, blah, blah, blah. And they end up going back to, the Rock of Eternity to get the staff so he can get the powers, blah, blah, blah.
Then the kids come in.
For a batarang at them. Figuring out, hey, he's powerless when he has no demons inside his eye.
So let's do that, yeah.
They run away.
Stuff happens. They teleport to the strip club.
They teleport to like, yeah, Billy, just think about going to her, and that's what comes to mind. That's funny.
Is it the first place you think of? Yeah, that was good.
Like, Darren's like, I want glitter. Not this glitter.
Oh my god, that was so funny. Yeah. Not from them.
Yeah, they went to the carnival. Billy's obviously blending in, blah, blah, blah. Savannah's starting to wreck stuff.
Yes.
Where Demon's just like, okay, well, I gotta transform, save people, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Then Savannah sends out demons, rounds up the kids.
The third act happens.
Yes, third act happens. Rounds up the kids. Then Billy's like, okay, I'll give you powers. Kind of tricks them, grabs the staff or whatever, and just the way Savannah talked about handing over powers and that kind of stuff, and just remembering the wizard's words, gives the powers we mentioned before to the kids, and they become the Shazam family.
Yep.
They all become adults, different colors. They all kind of excel at one certain ability powers.
Yeah, and I think these actors also did a very good job of, like, you felt like it was the characters you've been watching.
Yep.
Especially, like, they obviously had a huge focus on Darla.
Yeah.
And whoever was playing her, and I do think she did a really good job. It was just funny with Darla's mannerisms in an adult.
Yep.
It's just pretty funny.
Yep. Fun and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the most interesting like action stuff as we mentioned earlier, because all this stuff's happening. We got the whole Shazam family fighting. Everyone who's not Billy is fighting in the carnival. Billy's fighting Sylvana.
It is a little funny to me that I feel like Billy's Shazam version probably looks the least like him out of all of them. I feel like he looks a lot different in his Shazam body, whereas everyone else looks.
Yeah, I imagine part of that is just the process of, okay, we got to get kind of the quote-unquote best people for...
and it has to be immediately obvious who all these are. Like, we have to make them very close,
Yeah, and I feel like at that point, when they're casting them for the adult versions, like, okay, we got to get adults that look like the kids we've already got.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care. It was just something I thought about.
Yeah. So And then one of the funniest scenes happened when Sylvana and Shazam are fighting in the city when they're like a mile apart, as Billy puts it. Sylvana is doing the generic supervillain speech when he's like, I'm going to rip out your heart and eat it, blah, blah, blah. They're like, what? I can't hear you. You're like a mile away. There are cars and people. Like, and then he's like, just screw it and just went towards him.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. Me and Jeff were both laughing pretty hard.
I'm trying to think about other jokes, especially at the end, that stood out.
There was definitely several of them. Me and you got a big laugh out of both of us. But
yeah. Oh, something when I was listening to Funhouse's thing that Alana Pierce mentioned that also got me. That's kind of subtle. This is way early in the movie when they're in the cafeteria in the very beginning of the movie, when they're walking out and they throwing away their food or whatever. Mm-hmm. You see Billy throw away his tray and put the tray on top like you're supposed to. Freddy throws the whole tray in the trash can.
I didn't notice that.
I was trying to hold back because no one else was laughing. It's one of those subtle things that are great. Now, and Funhouse also mentioned it's like, yeah, Freddy's actor kind of one of those kids that kind of stole this movie, like one of the best parts of this movie.
Like the kid actor?
Yeah. Just him in general.
Yeah, he did
really good.
A very good job. I mean, yeah, for his awesome as Zachary Levi, we definitely do also give credit to the kid because I think he did a very good job too.
Like we mentioned before, he was probably the actor on screen the most.
Yeah. I did not notice that at all.
It was
That's
so
really funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of great scenes. Yeah, we mentioned the bullet things, which is hilarious.
Yeah. There was definitely some other ones, but I can't think of them right now.
Yes, it's so
I'd
good.
have to see it again.
Yeah, so they saved the day, blah blah blah. They do. Oh wait, one of the other ones. That was. Or and then I think the funniest thing, but a cool thing with the whole Billy fighting Savannah thing on the rooftop or whatever. He knows at this point that the whole demons, if all of them are out, he's powerless or whatever. Billy does the math or whatever, figure out which one's which as far as which one's not in there. And I didn't call this out. I haven't seen anyone really have a problem with this, but I can see someone calling out, having a problem with this. The fact, he knew which one was which necessarily, even though I feel like they haven't done a great job explaining which sin was which throughout the whole thing.
Yep. And that's something that me and you talked a little bit about on the car ride home. That it was a little disappointing that that the 7 deadly sins, there was really not much unique about them to tie them to that sin. And I thought
I mentioned this, and I think most people agree. Gluttony was the one that stand out the most because it's a big fat guy with a mouth on his belly. That's the only one that you can look at and be like.
Yeah, other than that, if you lined them up, I probably wouldn't be able to tell. And there was aside from envy and wasn't there another one?
Greed.
Greed. There was really nothing that happened in the movie that made them that. It was made them characteristic. They were really pretty much just 7 monsters, just generic monsters, and they looked bad. They were in the movie a little too much for how bad they looked. It looked like they were from a different movie. Mm-hmm. It almost looked like a kid's movie.
But the envy thing was, pretty cool. It's like, yeah, but they don't invite you to the parties and that kind of stuff. Get them out.
Yeah.
To get them out.
Yeah.
Oh, and
I like how he just changed. Because he was joking around. He's like, yeah, because you're a useless piece of whatever.
I like Shazam's quote about lust. I expected lust to look
I expected lust to look a lot better, honestly.
Yeah, it was great. So yeah, they saved the day, blah blah blah, everyone loves them, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
They end, go back to the family dinner thing. Billy's kind of just now accepting of it. Throughout the movie there at the dinner table praying. Billy's the one who initiates and says a prayer and stuff.
Good payoff. Would have been better if Darla said Shazam.
But or someone says Shazam and accidentally, and they all.
I think it has to be Darla.
Yeah, I think it has to be too. But yeah. It has to be Darla, and we talked about this. One of two things had to happen. One of them we kind of said earlier. It's either she transforms. It's like, Darla, not supposed to say Shazam, and then they all transform. Or she says it, lightning hits all, and then they all transform at once. Yeah. Either one of those would have been acceptable.
That would have been good. Yeah. I was like, what's the harm in the foster parents knowing? They're going to know at some point, I feel it.
Darla can't keep a secret.
No, it's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Also, something that's really cool, when I was doing my little research about this, it turns out it is a comic thing. Apparently, part of Darla is she actually can't keep secrets as part of her power set. She's bad with secrets. That's actually
that's weird.
Or at least that's what it is. Yeah,
that just seems like a character trait, not a power set.
I may not have been a power thing, but I did see that Darla can't keep secrets in the comics well, so that's something he just brought over. Nice.
Well, it fits.
Use that effectively.
Even if that was a new thing, it just fits so well.
Yeah, it was the hyperactive little sister character. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and she was adorable.
Yep. So yeah, that's most of the. I don't think there are any more funny things before we get to the last, pretty much.
I think we can close out. We got a lot of talking to do today.
We do. So the very last scene, Freddy is in the cafeteria and getting picked on and stuff. He tries to sit with someone. The kid's like, "Screw you, kid, leave." Then all the foster kids come up. Apparently, yeah, they made it clear, but it's weird. Like they all just go to the same school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there's schools like that. We just not aware of them.
Probably.
Yeah. They all sit down. It's like, hey, but your lunchtime's different. Oh, we pulled some strings, whatever. Shazam comes out like, hey, best buddy.
Yeah.
This guy's telling me everything I know.
There's all these other kids that I'm just meeting for the first time. You look really cool.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I brought a friend. Superman walks up, but you don't see his face.
Which, like I said, I wish he looked a little better because, like, I honestly couldn't tell. Is this supposed to be real Superman, or is this supposed to just be a dude in a suit? Because it doesn't look like.
Well, as I mentioned, they
couldn't get Henry Cavill. It would have been nice if they could have just got Henry Cavill.
I also went on my Wikipedia dive, I saw Henry Cavill was supposed to be there was scheduling conflicts. But part of me is like, yeah, I do agree they could have potentially done better with the whole body thing. It looked a little off. But part of me is like, not seeing the face kind of makes it funnier in a way.
Not seeing the face is fine, but like the torso.
Yeah. No, I agree with that part.
At all look like Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Or just even, it just kind of looked like a dude. It did not look right.
Yeah.
That could have absolutely been.
But Darby, the implications of all this, that he is no Superman.
I know, but who knows if that's ever gonna be something?
Yeah, I know. That's what kind of sucks.
That's it. Might kind of end up breaking this universe in ways if it like keeps going, but without Superman. So it's like, so Superman's a thing. Shazam even knows Superman. So why isn't Superman helping? I'm saying in the future, like I could see this happening. Where it'd be
that's the case about any of these superhero universe. Just the way it is.
It's gonna get weird if we just like never see Superman again. And it's like,
yeah. Well, here's the one interesting thing about Shazam. We know these characters exist and everything, but we did see Superman's face, so they could technically get someone else's Superman, and it still works with the Shazam.
That's probably one of the reasons.
There's like, probably they went through it. But for that scene was great. It's a great way to just end it all. Do the credits. We get the post-credit scenes. The last one we talked about with the whole them riffing on Iron Man. They're trying to see if Billy can talk to fish. But the quote-unquote mid-credit scene was interesting.
Yeah, and apparently, so this is a thing.
This is 100% a thing.
Because I don't know anything
so
about
Savannah is in jail. He's going crazy, writing a bunch of the runes and all that crap.
Yeah.
Chanting stuff. Stuff breaks, he gets angry. And then a little caterpillar, which I think we see earlier.
Oh, really?
I think we saw that caterpillar earlier, and it kind of started like, it's kind of just a big caterpillar thing. It just kind of stood out.
Like where?
I can't remember. It's like sometime early in the movie. It wasn't anything special. I just felt like I saw it earlier. And then it started talking to him. I was like, really weird. I have a plan. We need one skull.
Just need some money.
And that character goes by the name of Mr. Mind.
Yeah, I don't know this.
And this is an obscure thing, Darby. Pretty obscure.
So is this gonna be like the villain? This
is probably sequel bait. This is probably hinting at what's to come.
So not Black Adam, or maybe Black Adam and this.
Yeah, Mr. Mind is an evil, intelligent, telepathic worm, space worm. That gets like super villains together and runs a team and stuff. So
all right.
Yeah, so that's what they're teasing for a sequel, which, as mentioned earlier, they are planning one, and I'm hoping, or at least they're starting to go ahead and write one. I'm hoping, they do it's sooner rather than later, just because don't want the kids to age too much.
Yeah, yep, and I want them to be a part of it because they were so awesome in this.
Yeah, and most of them are at the age now they'll age quickly. I just looked at all age. Yeah, they're all pretty much the same age of their characters in this part. I think Billy and Freddy are like a year or two older than 14, but
yeah, I was about to say, I could have seen, especially Billy being older than he looks.
He might have been like 16 or something.
Yeah, well, that's still that's not bad at all.
Yeah, Freddy's 15. I'm not sure about the other ones.
How are these kids that good at acting that young? It must just be drilled into them from such a young age.
Yeah,
especially like Darla. Like she looks like she's young.
I mean, I mean, obviously I don't know all these names. Freddy's actor's doing pretty good for himself between it and this.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like I heard people talking about how great he was in it as well. So.
Oh, he's hilarious. And now that I remembered who he was, I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
He plays a kind of different type of character, but but kind of similar. He's very like bombastic and kind of sarcastic, dude.
Cool.
He's cool.
So Kim, I have a future.
It's good. You should see it. It's pretty good. I'm excited for it too.
Can't wait for Pennywise in Mortal Kombat.
Hey man, it's honestly pretty likely.
Okay, Darius, maybe we can end it with one just a little quick discussion thing. What are we thinking as far as the future of the DCEU? Since this is the first Spoilercast we've done for a DCEU movie since Wonder Woman.
Well, Jeff,
2 years ago.
I will tell you. You want to know what I think?
Yes.
I have absolutely no freaking clue. I, honest to God, if I was in charge, I would just throw my hands up and I would have absolutely no clue.
It's such
you
a
cannot
weird thing.
Stop Wonder Woman and Shazam and Aquaman. You just can't.
No, you can't.
They're too big. They just like Aquaman sold over $1 billion. Yeah, Wonder Woman was successful. This looks like it's maybe not as successful as I thought, but
yeah, it's like it's more going to be the Ant-Man range because kind of unfortunately.
But I mean, all these movies are well received, and especially Aquaman and Wonder Woman are selling. You just can't do it. But at the same time, you're
losing your Batman, Superman, and Flash.
And yeah, like not only were the movies that they were in not really received well, the actors are gone. It's like, so I mean, I don't know at this point. Do you recast them and just make everyone have to stomach the fact that we're supposed to believe these are the same characters? Or do you just completely leave them out? But then you can't do that. You can't leave Batman and Superman out of your movie plans. Like, that's just not going to be a thing. And then you might even have Joker in this universe, but no Batman. Because we don't know if that Joker movie is in this universe or not. Who knows?
It's weird because... So Joaquin Phoenix older than Jared Leto?
Oh, totally. I mean, and if they try to say he's not, then I give up.
Yeah. So it's a really weird situation. This is kind of my potential thinking what they should do. Maybe kind of what I'm hoping to do, at least for a little bit. Maybe for at least a little while. Maybe a little one-offs. Maybe have like a little team-up movies in the style of Thor Ragnarok, where you just have Hulk and Thor just kind of being on an adventure together. Stuff like that. Not even necessarily saying these particular heroes. Wait and see who else they do. Do these kind of solo movies, these kind of maybe smaller group movies, like they're doing a Birds of Prey movie, for instance, and all that kind of stuff. And they're going to try to do Suicide Squad 2. Or they're talking about rebooting it, so I don't know what they're doing with that. So that's a whole other...
so muddled.
Yeah, but do these movies and try to do them in a way where they can be connected if they get to that point, but just don't like throw it out of the window for some reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it just sucks that you have to make these movies and make them like, kind of in, but not too connected because we never know what's gonna happen. It's just like it's such a worse hand to have to play than Marvel. Like the reason why the MCU worked is because they had that
plan.
They had a plan and they had that core group that was in for the long haul.
Yeah.
I mean, they were in for the long haul because it was successful.
Yeah.
But like, if Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. had quit halfway through this, the thing would have probably fallen apart. Like it would not have worked like nearly as well. But the fact that they were able to keep them in there for the whole thing, that was part of
Yep, I agree. So keep on doing these solo movies, at least or these not solo standalone movies for a little bit. Maybe have some of them connect in some ways, kind of smaller ways. Maybe wait to build up some stuff before you do a crazy Justice League or whatever type thing again. Attempt it. Figure out what the hell you're gonna do with your Batman, Superman, and Flash.
Yeah, like especially Wonder Woman is so tied into Batman and Superman because of Justice League.
I mean, Aquaman is now because of that. Shazam's the only one. I mean, we see Aquaman, Batman, and Superman and Wonder Woman and stuff. All these superheroes exist in Shazam. Well, that's confirmed, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the ones that we've seen in other movies. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, what? No.
We know these superheroes exist.
Yeah.
in Shazam, but and I know they're going for these are the versions, but they kept it wide open enough to where it doesn't exactly have to be the same versions.
So
at least in Shazam.
Shazam could suddenly be in a different universe, so they could just act like it always was.
Yeah, because the whole Henry Cavill not working thing could work in his favor in a way. Yeah. But then still, obviously, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, the one that muddy the water. If it wasn't for those two, they could have just kind of do a soft reboot thing.
I mean, it's almost not worth dwelling on because it's just, unfortunately, it's where we're at. But it's just like, it's never going to be as tight as the MCU. Where the MCU is able, because it's all in the same plan. So like, this movie can reference this movie, and it never really feels like you're breaking continuity or like, oh, they would do this, but they don't know where they're going with it. It's like, it all feels connected.
Yeah, and they're all like, they're all kind of looked over by Kevin Feige and stuff.
Yeah, like even in the middle of like, Doctor Strange and other things like that, like you could totally expect to have connections to between all of these that are more than just little nods. Yeah. So I don't envy them. I mean, like obviously I'm happy that we're starting to get good movies, but it also just it's coming at a weird time now. Yeah.
Again, the Joker movie this year is gonna be so interesting, just because of how different it just seems, just from the sake of the kind of movie it seems to be going for. And the fact is it's supposed to be Joker's quote unquote origin story, but it's not the same actor, and the actor looks old, looks older than the one that we had already in this
and in this universe. We've already at least referenced 2 Jokers, right? I think in Batman vs Superman we referenced the Joker, and then there was Suicide Squad, and I think he's supposed to be a different Joker. Jared Leto is. Maybe I'm wrong.
I guess then.
So I think canonically in this world we've at least heard about 2 different Jokers. Is this Joker either of the?
Then they're going some comic book crap, because last I heard there are like 3 Jokers. And they're trying to figure. All right, they might have figured out that mystery. I'm behind in the comics. Yeah. DC Universe saved me.
I mean, Batman vs Superman definitely referenced Joker.
Yeah. Oh no.
And then I don't think that's the same Joker as Jared Leto. I think I remember people saying that it was 2 different Jokers. So, but they are in the same universe. I mean, like Ben Affleck was even in Suicide Squad.
Well, let's say the Joker movie for the end of this year is its own just kind of standalone movie. I think that's fine as long as it's good.
That would be better.
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
Make things easier.
And if that's good and sells well, I'm okay for them using some different characters, maybe even some we already seen, to do something different, just standalone stuff. Make it clear they're standalone, because they kind of haven't said this Joker is DCEU related officially, as far as I know.
Right.
This guy said, "Hey, we got a Joker movie, Joaquin Phoenix coming out."
Fox just did Logan. There's like, screw the continuity. It's just here you go. Here's a
kind of Deadpool in a way too.
Super good movie, yeah. So it sucks. Like I said, it's not as neat as the MCU, but if we keep getting good movies, I'll be happy enough. So that was Shazam. Any more last things you want to get off your chest? I was just very impressed.
Yeah. No, I'm happy you liked. It's like, I can drag you to more DC movies. I mean, dependent, of course, if they are well received.
If this one wasn't good, it wouldn't have looked good for the DCEU for me seeing it in the theaters going forward.
I mean, that's
and it's
fair.
Still going to be a movie by movie basis, obviously. Like, Wonder Woman, I'm in day one. I got to see that for myself, but. Other than that.
Yeah, I mean, even the Joker movie, it's like, we got to see where that's going.
Yeah. And there's still, like, I had no interest in Aquaman, and I don't, like, I'll probably watch it. I might watch it in streaming if I watch it at all, but, like, I didn't have any interest in seeing that in the theaters.
My man.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you check out our Game of Thrones Spoilercast that is going on in a few hours for us recording this right now. It'll probably be in the past for you to watch it, but we're going to be doing it every single week. Everyone's going to die.
Yeah, more spoiler modes coming up. We got Endgame in 2 weeks. May not be exactly 2 weeks when we're recording, but that's 2 weeks when we're seeing it.
Yeah, cool. We're going to try to wait and get Mr. William Outlaw, Marvel expert.
Take the Pikachu in about 4 weeks. Let's go.
And then we might try to get Alex Boone, Pokemon expert.
Yeah.
And then we'll rewatch Friends. No, we won't. I hate Friends.
You don't watch all 10 seasons?
God, no. We can get your sister on by herself to talk about Friends.
I could probably have a decent conversation because I've seen so much of Friends, not necessarily by choice.
Friends cast. Look forward to it.
Dear God, no.
All right, bye.
Bye.